That's why I lose respect for you when you start dancing and kissing Caucasian males' ass.
I ask you, who this nigga on that nail?
You suck the dick of black people right now. You doing the easy shit.
Nah,
see, ain't nobody
let me tell you something, homie. I don't suck dick.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
So fix
you doing
that.
the right same
Let's
energy
switch
you give me.
Let's
Let's
switch
switch.
Let's switch seats.
I'm with it.
Homie, I don't do no.
Welcome to True Breakdowns, hosted by Trey.
Welcome to True Breakdowns with your host Trey. Go ahead, smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, and smash that notification bell. It pushes me through the algorithm, and I definitely appreciate it. And it's completely free. All it takes is a little bit of effort. Now let's get into some content. Looks like Anton Daniels is suing Corey Holcomb and entities tied to Corey Holcomb, including the 5150 LLC, and he's left room open for any other participants. So Craig and D could be involved, and anyone else who's, talking on Anton, his family on the 5150 show. So this lawsuit is pretty modest from what I can see, and it looks pretty strong.
Our entire life, we've done everything to protect our child, ensure that she's never, ever, ever needed anything whatsoever. Right for me and my family. And at this point, I've been advised not to say anything else about it. So that's all I've been authorized to say. Had a couple emergency phone calls. The only thing that I can say at this point is that I can't say anything else about it. First, I need to go and make sure that my daughter is okay. And so it's a lot of tests. I'm not sure if she got to get pulled out of school for the rest of the year. This may affect her in that way. So I have to make sure that she's okay. She's no longer safe, even going to school anymore. We got to protect our babies. Under no circumstances will I ever allow for my daughter to go on.
It's not Anton personally that's going to be pursuing a lawsuit against Corey Holcomb, but his daughter and his wife, the mother. So this is a really strong angle. I believe that this definitely changes the dynamic of things, because Anton is pretty much getting at Corey in proxy, which is some 5D chess shit. Like, this is like real 5D chess. So Corey's gonna be going up against Anton's daughter and his wife in the state of California. And with a liberal blue state such as California, who tends to side with women, and if you can get that defamation case through that window, Corey's gonna be looking at a pretty tough case to defend. It all depends if the judge will actually accept the case, and if he does, then from there, I think Anton has a pretty good opening to win. Well, I mean, I'm saying Anton because I know Anton's behind this. He even admitted to being behind this. He front ran this for sure with content. And I think Anton front running this is actually a good defense for Corey. That he could definitely use that defense. To me, this is really gray area, but I do think Anton has a strong, I do think Anton's daughter and his wife have a strong case. With Anton obviously pulling the strings in proxy and funding this litigation series. So it's going to be extremely interesting to see how this unfolds and to see how it's judged for the most part, because I haven't seen a case like this in regards to content creation. To be honest with you, a defamation case that has actually made it through like that gray area, because Corey never mentions names, but obviously for defamation, you just have to insinuate, and from there, viewers can infer. And if people can go to that comment section and they can see that you're talking about Anton Daniels' daughter and his wife, etc., then you may be in trouble. And I'm pretty sure Anton already did that. Went through the comment section and checked to see if, viewers were assuming it was about his daughter. And then from there, and I'm pretty sure Anton's done his research. He's no fool. He tends to do deep dives when he takes action. Not all the time, for what I can see, he lets his ego get in front of him. But this time, I don't think he would have filed if he didn't believe he had a strong case from all angles. So it'll be interesting to see if Corey can get out of this unscathed, which I don't think he is because of how Anton has packaged this. He's at least going to take some damage in attorney fees because he can't navigate this by himself without an attorney. So I do think some attorney eventually is going to get tired of his shit and is going to take opportunity to milk this. And that's when you'll kind of see, you know, him either capitulate and wave the white flag, you know, publicly, or just not talk about this at all. And then to me, that's the same as capitulation. So let's get into this content. We're gonna watch the lead attorney. He's gonna pretty much navigate this as a past licensed attorney. He's over in the South in Georgia, but defamation is defamation. A lot of those, you know, legal elements are similar state to state. I mean, the Bar Association sets these laws for the most part, and then they kind of trickle down from, you know, federal to state. So I think that the lead attorney will give us a pretty good analysis on this, but I guess we'll take what he says with a grain of salt because he is an entertainer. He's not practicing anymore. Not to say that his scope isn't accurate, but he's gonna provide it from an entertaining perspective. So he's gonna do a lot of he's gonna be filling in the gaps with a lot of entertainment if you're not used to his style. So without further ado, lead attorney.
I don't like these things anymore, man. For what? So glad that I'm out. Anyways, let's keep going. Comes now the daughter and the wife and file this complaint against Corey Holcomb and the 5150 show. The parties, who do we got? Leslie Daniels. She's an African American. Y'all be wearing out this whole tether shit. Can somebody tell me what a fucking tether is?
We're just gonna fast forward.
Residing in Detroit, Michigan, also an African American. Oh, here we go. Okay, so Anton is mentioning this. Guys, I have not read this. All right, so we're reading this shit together. I don't know nothing about what's going on. Leslie Daniels is the daughter of Anton Daniels. Sharita is the wife. Based upon information and belief, Corey at all times is a resident of LA. All right. Corey produced and appeared on a weekly podcast known as the Corey Holcomb 5150 show. The show consists of long, rambling. Oh shit! Oh.
Now Corey, he rambles a lot and he tries to come off like this high frequency mentor that has a lot of Hollywood experience from a business perspective. I don't think he's media trained. I don't think he's from a risk standpoint anyway, because he wouldn't be going on his 5150 show saying these things and dragging minors. Even someone who's borderline, even if you didn't know, it's just the fact that that person may be a minor, you would just kind of stay away from it to mitigate risk. But he seems to run towards risk, and he's kind of a moral hazard.
That's the air up there. Look, let me tell you something. Don't make no more kids. That gonna be buying pussy like you after a while. If you don't know, don't ever brag on no what you ain't got. Don't nobody want no kids with you. Don't nobody want no kids with you. Your prime years, you was a scammer. You was doing scams. Now that you older and found a way to manipulate, get dude off the screen. Get dude off the screen, man.
Our situation.
During the show, I brought up that lady who was murdered by ICE agents. And Tampon said, that lady. So I made a shirt I hope that we get in touch with the lady who was unfortunately murdered, get in touch with her family. Because I made a shirt that I want to send everybody in her family. Because, you know, he wants to talk about everybody else's family and kids. But if somebody say something about what might be something that touches his heart, he wants to control the way war goes. Let me tell him and everybody else, you not me. You not me. But this is dedicated to dude. We got a shirt that will be up for sale. Hit it. is dedicated to you, Lane.
Oh, that's cold.
This is dedicated to you, Lane.
All right.
I think if Corey would have just kept this isolated to him versus Anton, it wouldn't have got this messy. I think Anton would have been able to exchange blows with Corey verbally without having to include the family. But I think that's kind of where Anton drew the line. And I'm not sure if his daughter's truly affected, but I do believe that Anton's behind this. So he's obviously funding this. Corey's attorney isn't too bright. He's questionable. I think he could get Corey into a lot of trouble legally, because if he was truly good counsel, he wouldn't be here right now.
I've known Mr. Holcomb for some time now, and I mean, he is just not just a lifesaver. He said I'm a lifesaver. He's a lifesaver for me because he's such a great guy, client, and friend. And he called me. I literally was knocked out, and he called me in disarray about these false allegations that have been made against him. And his team today sent my office the entire client file. And I'm not going to get into any type of attorney-client privilege or attorney work product, but what I do know is that he may have a possible case for defamation against TMZ and others. Because, from what
to my understanding, he's been Corey's attorney since the beginning of the year. So if that's your new counsel and you're already in a lawsuit, which to me looks pretty strong for the petitioner. I've worked in law as a paralegal, and I've seen cases like this. I've seen people win cases like this. But it all depends on obviously if it goes to trial and the jury and how they, weigh the case and weigh the elements of the case. So to me, it looks strong for Anton right now, and the angle he took with his daughter petitioning and the wife, the people that were insulted, and leaving him out of it, because California tends to lean towards sympathizing with women. And I think that was a very sharp psychological decision for Anton to take that angle. So he's not mentioned at all. So, and in any of the legal documents, if anything, it'll come up if it goes to trial. During the hearing, the judge will obviously weigh all of the material evidence, and from there he'll decide if they can come to like a resolution without having to spend taxpayer money on a trial. Then if they can't come to a resolution, if Corey doesn't fold, obviously the judge is going to decide whether Anton has a case at that hearing, and then from there they'll decide hey, if Corey's obviously is in the wrong and he's violated some laws in California, then the judge will kind of weigh the options and present them to Corey, or present them to both parties, and then from there it could potentially go to trial if Corey doesn't want to fold. So it all depends on the evidence and how the judge weighs it during the initial hearing. So it should be interesting.
Anton got money. So a damn discovery where you get to depose people, that is one of the funner parts of being in it. Sometimes it could be, if you got to travel for it and stuff. But I get to sit there 6 hours, 8 hours, 12 hours, 2-3 days, depending on the case. And I just get to grill you minute by minute, get you to answer all of my questions. I get to investigate. And shit, a lot of times, real talk, people don't want to be sued, not because they might lose money, but they don't want to do the damn discovery process. Because that damn thing is, all the skeletons come out, right? Anyway, the Anton's family alleged that each of the defendants are responsible in some manner for the occurrences herein alleged, and that plaintiff's injuries herein alleged were legally or approximately caused by the defendants. That's just saying, hey man, we think that Corey and his show and whoever else, they're the ones who did this. Wherever it is alleged that any act or omission was also done or committed by any specifically named defendant, plaintiffs hereby intend or to allege and do allege. All right, so this is just saying about the Jane and John Does. This is pretty legalese. Plaintiffs believe that each of the defendants is an agent and employer. All right, so what is it saying that, hey man, Corey did it, he's responsible, the 5150 show is responsible, somebody's responsible, all right? That's just naming the parties. This is the jurisdiction. Okay, it says this court, which is in California, has jurisdiction over the case, and they're going to be asking for more than 35 racks. All right, so we don't know. Some people read this and say, oh, well, Anton Daniels, he's going to sue for 35,000. No, you have to put this in here to qualify to be in this courtroom, and you have to say that it's going to be more than 35,000. So it could be 40,000, it could be 4 million. We don't know. In fact, you know,
I guess the barrier to entry would be the anti-slap laws in California. It's really hard to win on defamation, even though, I mean, this could slide in other states, but California has anti-slap laws that protect creators. And I think that's what Corey is heavily relying on, and that's what's going to be weighed during like the initial hearing. And then there will be like a soft discovery if the judge allows, you know, this defamation case to proceed. But that initial hearing is going to be critical in how the judge weighs the elements, obviously, of the case, like I said before. And then we'll go to trial, which will give us more content, obviously.
You know what I want to do? I want to take a peek. I want to take a peek at the bottom to see if they tell us how much Anton is going to ask for. And when I say, guys, when I say Anton, just know that I'm talking about Anton's family. All right, let me see here. No. So we don't know yet how much they're going to ask for. All right. They could ask for 1 million, 2 million. Now, y'all know Tasha K, and we're going to talk about this, but you can win $4 million, speaking of Tasha K, and not get paid. Tasha K was on Corey Holcomb's ass and had hooked up apparently with Corey's baby mama or something like that. It's 250 now over the increase. You have to ask Tasha about that. I don't know. But let's just say that the increase was to $450 a month. You're gonna sue somebody for $1 million, $2 million, but they acting out over $450 a month. Now Corey making money. You see the super chats, and apparently he's going around on. I know his numbers are low. They've been low. His numbers.
So basically, Lita's saying it could be hard for Anton to collect even if he wins, which I do agree. And how Corey's structures are most likely set up, he's probably doesn't own anything under these structures. The money and the assets could be elsewhere. But I do think if Anton was to win some sort of judgment and restitution, then they will be able to like garnish wages from Corey's YouTube directly. But I don't think they'd be able to get any kind of wages from like shows he does, or anything he does on the side, you know, where he's collecting the money up front. I don't think they'll be able to touch that money. So I don't know how centralized, you know, his revenue stream is, or how decentralized it is from those federal barriers to entry. Because if you're getting paid by a subsidized company like YouTube, then obviously the feds can subpoena them, and that's all I'm saying. So if the feds can locate it and subpoena it, then there's like federal barriers or restrictions with pay, if that makes sense. Hopefully I'm explaining that right.
Numbers are dropping. I know that, but he's still getting something. And he's doing shows. That has to be something. So he's making money, but you know, you can have money, but it might not be in your name. So that's another thing, right? Anyway, where do we leave off? Oh yeah, so Corey is being sued, and Anton's family is going to ask for at least $35,000. Venue is proper. All right, here we go. The factual background. January of this year, boy, this was like a whole Cat Williams thing. There are still people eating off of this.
People are eating off
Your boy
this.
House of Hypocrites. Shit, I'm eating off of it. I'm talking about him. What am I doing?
I'm trying to get a scholarship off this.
It's crazy. I don't remember a beef between two content creators that has lasted this long. It's insane. January of this year, the Corey Holcomb show aired through YouTube, has a wide audience. That's true. January 13th, Anton, father of Leslie, husband of Sharita, appeared on the show. After introductory comments were made by defendant Holcomb and the guests, the two individuals became involved in an intense, heated discussion, and provocative remarks were exchanged. That is true. There were some provocative remarks. What your boy say? Take your bitch with you. If you bring a bitch, stand on the bitch. Stand on her.
Even Mika got it. For no reason. She was just there watching. And she got it. Take your bitch with you.
Like, what? Mika? Like, god damn. That shit got wild. So he's right when he says some provocative remarks were exchanged. Who do y'all think got the best of this? The best of that introduction? Some people say, oh, well, he didn't say it again. Anton didn't say it again. Some people say, shit, he said it 3 times. How many times you need him to say?
I mean, obviously Corey lost, and if he loses this suit, if he has to, I mean, technically this is an L for Corey because it really doesn't take much to sue in a civil court in California for like a couple $100. And if he has, Anton could be using AI for this. I don't know if he's actually, I don't know. He could have been using AI for most of his legal counsel and then just had an attorney file. So his attorney fees could be minimal. But if Corey takes it to trial, then obviously Anton's going to claim legal fees. And the longer they're in court, the more Corey will have to pay if he loses.
I don't like these fucking highlights in this red underlining stuff. It's throwing me off. Sometimes attorneys do this. They'll put shit in bold. They'll put shit in all caps. All this highlighting and underlining.
Some of this shit, there's like typos.
So let me try to read it. Corey on his podcast falsely stated that Anton's daughter was a dyke. This is disparaging.
It's just like the type of jokes he's talking about sexual orientation, and then there's like insinuations and implications that people can infer from where you don't even have to, mention this stuff literally. Because you're doing this on a platform that's not considered staged. You're like publishing this shit as Corey Holcomb and stating this as fact rather than delivering it as a joke. And I think someone came on your podcast and said that, actually. Chris Spencer said that. He came on and said, your delivery is just mean.
Chris literally knows all these people. So I remember some of the stuff I said, but it's not an excuse though.
Let me tell you what the difference is.
Okay,
because I've seen you since day one here 20 years ago. You would talk shit.
It's been 26 years.
26 years.
She's in here.
I'm talking about you've been doing it 16.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, 20 plus years. See, stuff like that makes me, no, I'm joking. There was a little smirk and a smile and a wink and a little something after you said shit. Now it's like there's a vitriol, there's an anger that comes behind some of the things you say, and it's like more painful, if you will.
He came on and said, your delivery is just mean now, but I think what he was trying to say is like it's too literal. You're just stating things as fact rather than delivering it as a funny joke. Even though I think some of the stuff you said even some of the stuff you said in the past, even if you delivered it as a joke, I still think you would offend those people. But I think this is what he means by that. Like, because you did literally just say she was a dyke. So
Homophobic.
And then you like generated imagery of her and her mother as apes. I don't even know why you went there, because that's not even like stuff that's not even a lane you should choose as like an insult. It's one thing if you want to drag them as like one of those edgy comedians. Like, I get it. I grew up around that era where motherfuckers will drag you, your family, but it's a way to do it that makes it artistic, where people can laugh and appreciate. Like, damn, he really dragged him and his whole family. And this just wasn't the route. I guess this just wasn't the route we expected you to take as a polished comedian. But this stuff may work in like small, like comedy clubs, and like this is a very niche crowd. You know what I mean? Where you can just call a minor, someone even borderline minor, a dyke who's like let's say she was in the crowd at a Corey Holcomb show, and she was just sitting there, and then Corey like pointed her out as like a set, like he was doing like a special on Netflix, and the special was him just roasting a 17-year-old, borderline 18, a young woman, calling her, saying she looks kind of like a lesbian. It just wouldn't be funny, no matter how he packaged it or whatever. And let's take Anton Daniels out of it. There's no comic. It would be hard to write a stand-up even that would hit, even doing that, especially in these times where we just got off the LGBTQ plus shit. There's a sensitivity around that. But if you are gonna make fun of that culture, there's ways to do it. You know what I mean? But you already have a background and history of homophobia or aligning with those sentiments and projecting that homophobic behavior onto the 5150 show. Because there's a way you could bash it. I'm not necessarily bash, but flame troll gays without necessarily being so mean to them and making it seem. Because honestly, I'm pretty sure no gays watch. No gays be wanting. He be calling them. I mean, that shit's funny. Backdooria, all that shit's funny. That shit was funny. But if you would have just kept it within like the lighthearted jokes without singling out celebrities, and this dude turned like hella segments into that. I'm just like, damn.
And misogynistic. It is a slur for a lesbian, particularly one who is masculine or.
But that word's funny. Backdooria, that shit's hilarious.
Anton's daughter is a heterosexual and is not a lesbian, for what it's worth. The false light was made by defendants intentionally to demean plaintiff and subject her to ridicule. Defendants knew the statement was false at the time it was made, or they failed to use reasonable care to determine whether the truth or the falsity of the statement yet made. What? Defendants failed to use reasonable care to determine either the truth or
Lee
the
is out of
falsity
it.
of these.
Hey, you can tell he's like, Lee does not want to be an attorney no more. This is just his angle, but he wants to be a content creator. Maybe stop covering legal shit then. If this is not what you want to do anymore. But I get this is like your lane for the most part, but maybe like cover something totally different under a new identity and see if it hits. Because I could tell this shit drains you. I don't even like covering this shit. I worked as a paralegal for a few years in family law. I hated that shit. It was a good opportunity. I learned a lot. I learned a lot of it is just bullshit. A lot of the legal process is just bullshit to collect fees and to collect it's just a revenue extraction system. That's all court is to me. And a lot of it is just bullshit. You got the sheriffs up there, the deputies up there, the bailiffs or whatever, making sure motherfuckers don't flip out. That shit is comedy to me. Course comedy, bruh.
Statement yet made the
hella drama
without
hella
regard
paperwork
to their truthfulness. Yeah, I mean, if Corey is going around saying Poetic Flacco is a rapist, who thinks that Corey really investigated whether this minor was heterosexual or homosexual?
I think Poetic Flacco has a stronger case than Anton's daughter and wife. Like, he has a strong case because Poetic Flacco's a public figure. But I think where Corey messed up, he's actually showed the picture of Anton Daniels' daughter. I think that's where he fucked up as well. Because it's like weighing this shit out, because he approached Anton's daughter with way more vigorosity and way more enthusiasm than he hit Poetic Flacco. And I think because Poetic Flacco, we actually know who he is. He thought because he didn't name Poetic Flacco or show him that he could just drop little breadcrumbs. But where he messed up was he showed us the court case, or he mentioned the court case and different elements of the court case with his brother, pretty much implying that he did research, and he said he did research. So he clearly saw that Poetic Flacco was not the person. You could actually see the guy's face in the police report. So I don't know. He can claim that he didn't see that police report. I mean, obviously there's nuances to it, but he's getting himself in a lot of trouble by not being able to produce content that doesn't cross legal barriers. You know, there's a lot of legal barriers that he's crossing. I get on YouTube, it's just content, it's fair use, but he's crossing a lot of civil lines and privacy lines that these quote unquote alleged victims could highlight, and then there could be some kind of restitution behind it. And that's all I'm trying to say.
He was just talking about a girl. Just talking about a girl's sexuality. Now, is this the first
As a
time
60-year-old
Corey has talked about girls' sexualities? Wasn't he talking about a 5-year-old sucking on a bottle, and y'all remember that, and being bounced on a lap?
He's
Corey joking about little girls.
And Anton definitely has that clip. He clip farmed that.
That ain't nothing for him.
That is it, definitely in his hard drive.
So based on this, Anton's family is saying they are entitled to recover compensatory damages. Plaintiff maintains that defendants knew the statements were false and acted with a conscious disregard of the child's rights.
How much you asking for?
The statements were made with oppression and malice in an effort to disparage plaintiff and damage her personal reputation, and to subject her to ridicule among her friends, classmates, and the viewing audience. So he is asking for compensation based, number 1, on defamation. And I'm going to explain all of this a little later, guys. Number 2, false light. Anton says that his daughter, that the statements that Corey made about his daughter on the podcast showed the daughter in a false light. Corey falsely stated that the daughter was a dyke. The word dyke, disparaging, homophobic. So he knew, Corey knew that the statements would create a false impression about the daughter. And Corey acted in reckless disregard. I know the judge gonna be, shout out to Anton, but I know the judge gonna be mad as hell looking at all these goddamn highlights. Hopefully that's just the way that I downloaded this and that's not what was actually in the document.
Shout out to Anton.
Defamation of Leslie with respect to the t-shirt. All right, so the same thing. There was a picture of a t-shirt. We talked about that. The depiction of Black people as apes and or monkeys and or gorillas. And
if he gets a Black female judge, he's cooked. I'm just let me just say that right now. If he gets a Black female judge in LA County for this case, he's cooked. I'm just letting you know that right now. It's going hibachi style. He's getting cooked and filleted and dipped, and they gonna marinate with teriyaki on that motherfucker. It's gonna be a Mongolian barbecue in this bitch. So just know, if he sees a black female name, FBA type name, it's a cookout. Or if he gets a white female judge that's liberal, cook out, because we have the shit in 4K. So it's gonna be interesting.
Or you're gonna feel away. Now, but maybe you should, and it's just words, sticks and stones, but there is something there. Right?
I mean, I don't know what, I don't understand. What did Corey, I don't understand what route Corey thought Anton was gonna take with this. I know this series is getting way too long. This shit's like an hour. I gotta have to cut this shit.
black man to black man, black on black humiliation and violence. This image is understood to be so degrading and demeaning that it could not possibly be passed off as satire or humor. The image of the daughter as an ape was and is defamatory.
He breadcrumbed it in the
daughter
wrong
is
way.
entitled to recover damages. All right, the fourth cause of action, defamation of the wife. Defendant, shit, I'm gonna just read the highlighted portions.
Same
Apparently,
shit.
those are the most important.
It's
Defendant
the same
Holcomb's
shit.
exhibit.
All right, so it's pretty much the same shit. Let's see if we can see how much he's asking for it.
Even see this. And demeanor. Oh no! I
That's a
didn't
shirt
even
if you guys haven't seen it.
Oh wait! What's the girl's name? Leslie. So maybe this was a bad transcription, but it's supposed to say this is dedicated to you, Leslie. Oh
No, he's saying this is dedicated to you, Lane. Like Anton, he's talking to Anton, but obviously he's
my
including
God!
them in it.
It says Lane, but did they pick it up wrong?
Like,
It says, "Hey, leave my family out of this," and this is the goddamn family. This apparently is the daughter.
that shit's comedy.
Who drew this up, man? This is terrible.
Like, yeah, the imagery is comedy, but like
It's fucked up, Corey.
obviously the shit behind it
let's see
is. Anton probably laughed at that shit too, though.
All right, so we got the T-shirt, and again, so we talked about the T-shirt with
Probably laughed
respect
at
to
that
the
shit,
daughter.
too. Like, what
Then
the
you got the
fuck?
T-shirt also with respect to the wife.
just
So
a
we're not really going to
cartoon,
go through
man.
this. It's the same thing. And they want punitive damages, not just compensatory damages, punitive damages. You got IIED, also known as the intentional infliction of emotional distress. What does Anton say? He says, listen, by publicly declaring my daughter to be an ugly dyke and by exhibiting and selling a T-shirt containing a picture of her as an ape, Corey and the 5150 show caused.
It's funny because like this all happened because they tried to do a YouTube segment together, and that's why this is like funny to me because it's the domino effect.
Anton's daughter to
Murphy's
suffer
Law.
severe emotional distress. Corey knew that Leslie would hear the false and degrading description of her and would know that Corey and the 5150 show were hawking a T-shirt with an image of her as an ape. Gorillas in the mist. Anton's daughter did, in fact, hear the defamatory description of her and see the degrading T-shirt. Oh, my God. And I think this is what Anton said, right? He said that the daughter, don't quote me on this, but that the daughter was broken. So, yeah, this got back to her. And you know how vicious kids can be, especially, in high school and
Do
stuff.
kids?
They probably,
Okay, if he can provide evidence of that, I can see that happening. I guess Corey's defense can be like, kids don't even really watch my podcast. I'm 60 years old. Her generation is not my subscription base, and he could probably prove that. I don't know how strong of a defense that is, but that's probably something he could throw in there. Probably some look. That's a little soft defense right there. Be like, well, my audience is like 30 on up, and I thought she was a minor, so. But him being a comedian, my only concern, I guess, why I'm spending so much time on this is because if Anton does win this creates a whole new legal precedence for anti-slap in California. And that's what I think a judge will weigh heavily. Like, because this is going to set a whole new legal precedence for content creators. And I'm going to end it on this. To where they'll have to be really walking on eggshells as far as like insults. And then, I mean, this would clean up YouTube as far as like content creation and like trolling, doxing. This will clean up a lot of shit once this catches wind. Let's say if Anton wins this, then this will be a game changer for like content creation and YouTube. But I think another strong defense would be Corey providing content Anton's created where he's talked about other people's children. Anton didn't go as far as making content or like naming that person or showing images. I don't know if he has anything out there with like showing imagery where he's like trolling, but Anton has trolled too, and he's made fun of other people's children. So that'll also be a strong defense for Corey to like show like, well, if he's doing it and doing this on his channel, then how is this any different than what he's done? Even though, I mean, obviously Anton was talking about other people's children, but I mean, we reap what we sow. You know what I mean? We reap what we sow, myself included. So nobody is bigger than the program, and that's kind of what that's what I want to end with. So I think that's kind of how the judge is going to look at this when they take a step back. And I know I've kind of been flipping back and forth, but that was kind of the point, to kind of have you guys give your inputs and then decide based on the elements, and maybe do your own research on anti-slap laws and see if who has more of an edge in this case. Because honestly, this could go either way based on the, like I said, on the interpretation of the judicial officials. And then if it goes to trial, obviously the jury will have the most say in this. So with that being said, Trey on True Breakdowns, go ahead, hit that like, subscribe button, and that notification bell. It pushes me through the algorithm, and I do appreciate the engagement, the comments, whether they're positive or negative. I could give a shit, because I honestly need you guys to just give your input, whether it's good or bad, because either way it helps me out. So with that being said, I'll see you guys next time. I'm gone. Peace.